What is the Padres way? We could read the article. But when we say Padres way, that starts with Shildt, or all of a sudden in the front office, hey, here's the Padres way. Because they've tried lots of ways under AJ Preller. They've tried lots of ways. They've had various managers, dozens of coaches under those managers. Now you have a manager that says, hey, I came from St. Louis. I want to establish this culture of the Padres way.
Here's the Padres way. I think according to Mike Shildt, says, quote, are you an organizational man? You got to care more about the organization than you care about your own career. You have to care more about the players than you care about your own career.
So the Cardinal way.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the Cardinal way is what he's saying, but it goes back to what I said earlier. There's one thing to say it. It's another thing to actually believe it. Are you kidding me? You've got all these $300 million players, okay, coming off a season where they failed to perform individually and as a team. And now we're putting ourselves to the side for the betterment of the team when 8 weeks ago, Manny Machado said, what is this, high school baseball?
Dude, that quote is going to live with him for a while until he wins,
plays his way out of it.
Bit a big clip and potentially a World Series and is a.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you, like, it's one thing. It's like I tell Jim, hey, Jim, you're a smoker. You need to stop smoking. You need to want to stop smoking. Mike Shildt can say, hey, Manny, you need to put the team before you. Until Manny wants to do that, I can say anything I want. If you don't stop smoking, you're not going to stop smoking. You need to make that decision, not me. Yeah. I want you to stop.
And the players that they get, whoever they get to be the left fielder of this team or the center fielder and whoever they get to be a potential another starter on this team, if they even do, DH, bench pieces, whoever get like those players, they're going to make a difference.
Yeah, of course.
But it starts and ends with Machado. Like it's as plain and simple as that.
That's why when you said earlier, I was surprised. You're like, I don't, and I agree. I'm not saying he was the main culprit for this 10, 12 games under 500 in September.
A lot of reasons why.
But also, I'm not willing to say he wasn't a primary culprit. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he was the number one, but I'm not saying he wasn't. Because I don't have evidence to suggest that that's the case.
And that's why this year, you need to have him be a big part of the solution and be a big part of them winning. There is no scenario that I see this team winning if Manny Machado does not have a big season.
Completely agree.
Like none. Tatis can have the MVP year like he did in 2021. Guess what? That team finished under 500.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Xander can have a bounce back season. For whatever bounce back type of season you want to say you can have, it doesn't matter. Manny Machado has to perform at a high level. He needs to be one of the best players in the game on the field. He needs to lead in that clubhouse. He needs to help Mike Shildt in any way possible to relay the messages from him to the clubhouse and vice versa. Okay. He needs to be the driving force in that clubhouse, on the field, if they're going to win, and he needs to play really, really well.
So what you're saying, and what I'm saying as well, and what maybe Mike Shildt is saying, the Padres way is to acquiesce to Manny Machado. I mean, I hate to say it.
No, because I don't feel like one player in baseball should be like the guy that holds everyone hostage to is Manny having a good day today? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, walk in that clubhouse.
So
is Manny doing good? Or can we have, do this, do that?
But consider the alternative. Manny Machado is held accountable by his teammates, by his coaches, by his manager.
See, that's interesting. That's
going to be possible.
That's going to be the part where it could teeter either way. And I never thought Manny dogs it. A lot of people say, oh, Manny doesn't hustle. Like, Manny knows how to take care of himself, okay? Mm-hmm. He's not going to be busting his ass down first base on a ground ball to second to potentially beat out something and strain his hamstring.
Yeah, and we don't criticize him.
No, because he understands, and there's a reason why he plays 162 games a year.
Yeah.
It's because he understands his body is better than anybody else and how to keep himself healthy for a full season.
Sure.
But it's going to be interesting if there's going to be any moments next year where Shildt ever gets, not in Manny's face, but like challenges him to be better.
Well, certainly you'd hope behind the scenes. I mean, there's going to be adversity. This team, if there's one thing we know, there'll be adversity. They're not winning 109 games next year. The best case scenario is to find your way into the postseason, right? Well, that usually means that the team will be faced with some level of adversity. Shildt is going to need Manny behind the scenes. And that means that they're going to like have to work together on things.
Oh, dude, it is such a vital piece of this whole thing
It's
working.
Like huge, it's like the keystone.
If Manny does not like Shildt or respect Shildt or buy into Shildt, his message, this thing is over before it started.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
I mean, I would even think that that's not even a possibility off the, like, when they hired Mike Shildt, did they go to Manny Machado? Like, you have to know Machado's feelings on Shildt as a potential manager, right?
Wasn't there reports that he preferred, or at least didn't Dennis Lynn say that players in that clubhouse preferred Ryan Flaherty over Mike Shildt?
I forget the exact dynamic.
Yeah. He was on with Darren, and he didn't give names, but it's pretty easy to find out or figure it out just by using common sense. Is, who was a Flaherty guy? Manny Machado.
In the chat, Matt, Manny has played under Shildt for 2 years, and then in all caps, stop making something on nothing. What are you talking about, Matt?
When?
You're way off base here. He's never played under Shildt. You kidding me? You think that at the end of a game, when the Padres have lost a series in Seattle and have been outscored 16-2, that any part of that dynamic has anything to do with Mike Shildt because he's advising AJ Preller and might, in some capacity along the last 2 years, have been a part of the big league staff? No, they've never. They haven't. It's never played out.
He was a part of the big league staff for a brief minute last year because Matt Williams was going through health issues.
To start the year, right?
Correct.
But what does that have anything to do with Manny Machado having played for Mike Shildt? He hasn't.
It's much different. It's much different when Mike Shildt was the third base coach to now when Mike Shilt's the manager of the team.
It's completely it's
not even close.
Different. And he wasn't even the third base coach. He was the third base coach for a period of time.
For like a month or so or two while Matt Williams was getting better.
The new third base coach, by the way, Tim Leeper, who I know because he managed the minor leagues with a club that I was with. I mean, are we going to be like, hey, Manny will play under Tim Leeper now because Leeper was the third base coach? No, it's completely different. The relationship with the coaching staff compared to the relationship with the manager is completely different.
Yeah, I think Matt in the chat is confused because he said he was around Manny he said Shildt coached the Padres the last 2 seasons and in the front office.
And he was around Manny, and him got to have a relationship. Yeah, I'm not saying he clearly has a relationship. That's my point. Of course he has a relationship. I'm saying, would they have hired Shildt without first turning to Manny to get his blessings? This is the question I'm asking.
It is when you become the boss of somewhere, like if you're just
way different.
It's way different, dude. Like if I became the PD of this station, it becomes different. Okay.
Yep.
But I still worked here. I know everybody. We have a relationship with everybody. But if I became the boss of everybody and I start like trying to implement stuff that I want to do as a boss, it becomes way different. The dynamic, way different. Just because he was around Shildt doesn't mean that whatever you're trying to say here.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is the point I'm making. Maybe Manny and Shildt are going to have an amazing relationship, and I wonder how that will transpire. But what does Shildt do when the going gets tough related to Manny Machado? And how have previous managers navigated that dynamic? How did Melvin deal with it? I heard a lot about the Melvin Machado dynamic 2 seasons ago. I heard much less a year ago. When the going gets tough, it's inevitable with the 2024 Padres. Am I wrong? Does anyone disagree with that? There's not an inevitability to real adversity with the 2024 Padres. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. But when the going gets tough and there's real adversity, what transpires? Which way does the team go? Which way does Machado go?
And it worked in 2022. And it was a failure in 2023. And it was a failure in 2021. And it was a failure in 2019.
Right.
Pretty simple.
Exactly. It's an even year. Should be a nice year.
Hopefully.